and welcome, or maybe it's welcome back. You are watching USA Global TV, home of Talking Heads, and a big shout out to our friends listening on Business Talk Radio out of New York. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and our show is presenting Pet Psychic Aminah. What a way to end a banner week. I've had unbelievable guests, incredible shares of education, knowledge, and tips, and now we're going to have more of the same. Let's bring out the star of our show, Pet Psychic Aminah. Hello.
Thanks. Hello. Happy Friday, everybody. Hope it's as beautiful as it is here. We've had rain and our hills are amazing. We get just a little rain and they just green up. It's just, you want to go skipping through the tulips if there were any.
It's always good to be outside and in touch with nature, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And taking care of our planet.
I'm more in touch with nature than most people, and I'll give you the 5-second intro of my weird self. So my daughter and I are driving home, and we live on like a square, houses, but we're in a square. So we're coming around the corner, and there's a dead bird in front of us, and it looks fairly fresh. And actually, it was decapitated. So let me not be too graphic. But of course, for me, I see, and it hadn't been dead very long. Don't even ask why I know that. Okay. So I jump out of the car. My daughter said, "Don't you dare pick up that bird." So I got a Kleenex and everything. I didn't handle it myself. And I said, "But no, it's getting wasted. The vultures, we have vultures all over and I absolutely adore them." And I said, "But they'll be hungry and this is their food. And I don't want them to be in the road." So I walked it up a hill and my daughter's just shaking her head going, "You are so strange. You're the only one who goes and picks up a decapitated bird." I said, "But then he can eat it safely up on the hill."
I have to say that's one I have not heard before, but listen, it makes a lot of sense. I get it. I get it. It's just going to be roadkill, right? In this way, it's actually continuing the circle of life.
Exactly. Vultures don't kill anything. And I keep trying to teach that to everybody. This is just the cleaner of the world. So, dinner got killed on the road. Ow, I can move it.
I know. I learned a lot about you about vultures. Yes. Very interesting. Aminah, before we bring out your guest, who is really amazing, I'm so excited. This is a topic we have not talked about before. I just would like to spotlight you. Yes. Yeah. I'd like to spotlight you and just share a little bit about your background because you've accomplished so much. You're much more than a psychic. So I want everybody to know all about you.
Thank you. Well, I'm not going to go with all, but I am definitely going to give you the fast resume. I am very, very fortunate to have had a mother who, once she saw her children were interested in something, she made sure that was something we were exposed to. So I was exposed to exotic animals all my life. She knew people from everywhere, and I was working with snakes. And actually, I have a picture of myself, 9 years old, giving a demonstration on how to prevent and handle snake bites if you get one and what to do after that. So that's my crazy upbringing of being around everything. By the time I was 13 or 14, I'm working with tigers and I was walking wolves. I was the only girl in the group and the wolf hated men. So I got picked and I thought, man, he wants to rip my arm off. I think he's going to do it. And that type of stuff. These are animals that were illegally owned by people. We had Arctic foxes. I lived in the desert. This is not a good combination make. So these were in somebody's home. There were 3 or 4 of them. And that's not where wildlife needs to be. So I am a huge advocate of living cohabitating. If you heard my vulture start, I just love all the bugs and bees and everything. And when I have to work around bees or anything that actually bites, I just say, "Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." Because sometimes you have to get in there and trim and do other things. We can cohabitate, but you have to understand the animal you're dealing with, and that's where I come in. Not only what I hear spiritually and all that, it's that I am a trained trainer. I've worked in wildlife, literally with tigers, chimpanzees. No, I didn't work with them. I walked by them. Other people worked with them, and many other pets, and did education. I'm a public speaker, and I also am very passionate about you doing better with your pets, and I'm here to help whatever that is, and that life expectancy of what breed to get to what is the right dog, cat, or not a pet for you, and we can all coexist far better. So there's a lot more to me than just the psychic stuff. That is just a tool I have been using lately. I've been working, as I said, with animals my whole life, and I'm looking forward to talking to yours.
Thank you so much, Amina. I want to welcome a new friend to the show. We just met on the last show. Maggie Paris joining from the Philippines, the middle of the morning, night there. So thank you, Maggie, for being with us.
Absolutely.
All right. Amina, tell us about your guest for today.
I am on the hunt now that we've been doing this for some time, and we really got through the legs of getting us introduced and, really thanking the people that got me here. I started with those people, and now I'm really diving deep into my field of animals. Somebody who does something from the heart, somebody who is going out of the way to save lives, to educate, to whatever that is in the animal world. So I am very, very lucky to have an amazing LinkedIn following, and I follow them. It's a mutual. I have National Geographic people and everybody in between, up and down, from the professions. These are my outlinks besides Facebook and that type of stuff. Just trying to get these people that I think go unheard, and their work they're doing is amazing. And Dr. Jacalyn, your platform is national. This is an amazing thing you've given me, and it's my give back to the world to say this was given to me, and I want to give back out. I really believe you give good, you get good, and all the way around. So I really want to showcase these people that are making a difference in animals' lives, little bugs' lives, people doing it better, because that's what we're about. That's what we're about. That's why I talked about don't get a pet for Christmas, and all that kind of stuff last time. And today we're going to talk to Genevive, and she is, I have never heard this before. I know you said you hadn't. They're centering on making sure that homeless people who are homeless, who have pets, and many do, are getting food, getting services, getting what they need to keep not only themselves healthy, but their support healthy. And that's what this really is animals give. They don't care what you smell like. They don't care what you eat or do or whatever. They accept you just as you are.
Well, let's bring her out. Genevive Frederick. She is the founder of Feeding Pets of the Homeless. Genevive, welcome to the program.
Well, thank you. It is an honor to be on this show and to explain exactly what we do to help homeless across the country. We're the richest country in the world, but more than 500,000 Americans are homeless every night, and thousands more are experiencing homelessness through the course of a year. There are hundreds of reasons why a person becomes homeless, besides the addictions and mental illness. There are economic reasons, there are circumstantial reasons, and personal reasons. But what frightens me right now is that according to the National Coalition for Homeless, 35 million people are at risk of becoming homeless because of evictions that are starting across the country. We're getting calls all the time now. And over 60% of all these people that are going to be evicted have a pet. They're going to end up in the streets. They're going to be living in their cars, in hotels, motels, shacked up with other families. It scares me a lot. But I want the audience to realize that we're an organization that will help these people feed their pets, will provide emergency veterinary care if their pets are injured or ill. We provide wellness clinics that we sponsor across the country. And we have a new program that's called Veterans Pet Support. And the last program we have is all about getting crates to homeless shelters and domestic violence shelters so that the homeless can come into these buildings with their pets. These pets offer so much to these people. They feel isolated from society, and their pets give them comfort, love. They're non-judgmental. These pets mean so much to these people. When they call us and they are frantic, sometimes they're crying. Their dog's been hit by a car. Their dog ate something off the sidewalk. There are all kinds of emergencies that we get calls every single day. We're averaging from about 20 emergency cases from the time they call us to the time we pay that hospital, which we have over almost 1,200 hospitals across the country that have worked with us, that know who we are. They give us a discount, but we pay them at time of service. These pets mean so much to these people. And when we hear them crying and they are reaching out to us, help me, help me. I don't have any money. My pet is suffering. It's ill, it's injured, and we are there for all of these people. We do have to verify homelessness, but usually it doesn't take that long to do that. We work with a lot of social workers across the country, with first responders, with police officers that know about us, and maybe on their beat, they have somebody that they know has an animal that's been injured. These animals because they're on the streets, it is so dangerous. They are exposed to traffic, to other homeless people that may want to hurt them, and their dogs will protect those people. We've had dogs being stabbed, shot by other homeless people. It's dangerous out there. I think people don't realize that there are so many homeless women out there that are and it's so dangerous. And this is one of the reasons why they have a dog. Even the little ones can alert them that there's danger nearby. So we, of our emergency cases, 61% are homeless women. Another 11% are homeless veterans. These are men and women that have served our country, and now they're homeless for whatever reason. So it's amazing that we've grown so much. I started this went nonprofit in 2008, and we've grown. We've spent over $2 million on emergency veterinary care at hospitals across the country, and that's before the discounts. We've helped and paid for over 6,300 invoices that have come across our desks. Like I said, our case managers, which we have 3 of, are taking calls every single day. Last year, we had over 8,000 calls. So far this year, we've had over 9,000, and we're still a couple months out for the year. People are asking, where can I get pet food? Where can I find a homeless shelter that will allow my pet? Where can I get low cost or free vaccinations, spay and neuters? So we have resources, and we partner with other organizations, and we all work together to help pets that are suffering, that need that help.
Wow, Genevieve.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'd clap if I had hands. That's amazing. That's
amazing. And your voice, you can just feel, yes, how important this is. How did you get involved with this initiative, Genevieve?
You know, I saw a homeless person on the street, and he had a dog, and normally I would have blinders on, like most Americans, that when you see people on the streets, because you think they're going to panhandle, they're going to ask you for something. And being a white woman, I'm not going to even acknowledge that person, but whatever it was that caught my eye, it was the dog. And so I came back. I was in New York. I came back to Nevada. That's where our headquarters are. And I started researching to find out how many homeless are out there that have pets. I was told by a number of national organizations that work with the homeless that maybe 5 to 10% I'm thinking it's more like 25%. And there's no hard statistics, so I can't tell you if that number is true. But based on what we hear, the encampments that are across the country that have dogs all over, because that's the only place that they can be, in a camp somewhere where they can have their dog. And it could be in a tent, it could be in a store front, or in an alley, or parked in a car behind Walmart, or wherever. There are a few places around the country, churches mostly, that will offer a parking lot where it's safe, so people can at least have a safe place to park, and the police won't push them out. You can't park here, you'll have to move on. So when I came back, I went, there's something I could do. I could feed these pets. So I talked to my own vet, and I asked them, if we put some kind of a receptacle in your reception area and asked your clients to donate pet food, and then we'll take it over to our local food bank where people are going already to get human food. Now, maybe they can get pet food as well. So I talked to both of those entities, and they were like, yeah, I would love to distribute pet food to the people that come through this food bank. So we did it. I put a quick little press release in the local paper. That afternoon, that 55-gallon drum was over full. That's when I knew this was going to take off, and it was going to be national. I always knew it would be something that I could do across the whole country. Because of COVID, we've lost a lot of those donation sites. So I'm asking your audience to please go to our website, sign up as a donation site, or become one of our volunteers across the country. We need your help to gather pet food so that no pet, whether they're belong to a homeless person or to a low-income family, that pet food is expensive, and they could use that money for other bills. So there you go.
There's the call to action. And we're going to repeat this later. Obviously, we still have more show to go, but your website is?
The website is petsofthehomeless.org.
Thank you.
Wonderful. That's wonderful.
So you had mentioned that there were 400 sites approximately, and now there are 200. What do you think the reason for this number going down so much is?
I think it has a lot to do with, number one, COVID. We lost a lot of businesses that way. There were other reasons that I have no idea. We ask our donation sites to report to us how much pet food this month did people donate, and where did you take it? So with that in mind, I can tell you that since we started this, people have donated over 787 tons of pet food that were taken to, right now we have more what we call pet food providers. Then we have almost 450 of those. These are places where people can get pet food. On our website, people can go there, type in their city, they can find out if there's a donation site, and for homeless people, they can find out where they can get pet food. And it's usually at a food bank where they're already, or a soup kitchen, where they're already getting their weekly or daily food, but now they can ask for the pet food. If it's not on our website, we always tell people, if you need pet food, you call the nearest food bank and ask them if they have pet food, or go to the local animal shelter. They would rather give you pet food than you relinquish their pet back into a shelter. So those are some tips that we always give callers when they call us asking about the pet food. We put a fair market value on all of the pet food that has been recorded to us, and it's over $3.3 million. We have people doing pet food drives all over the country. We just had one here in Carson City at a dealership where people were invited to fill the back of a pickup truck.
Oh, perfect.
And it lasted a month. And it was over 2 tons of pet food that ended up in that truck and then went to the local, it went to Salvation Army. And there were a couple of other places in town where people can get pet food, food banks.
It's wonderful. That's wonderful.
That is fantastic. Genevieve, I have a question for you. In addition to food, are the donation sites collecting other things, maybe toys, blankets, or is it primarily food?
You know, it's any kind of pet supplies, shampoos, leashes and collars are a big thing with the homeless, because a lot of times, and harnesses, we kind of prefer that because the collars are so restrictive and can cause damage to a dog's throat. We always encourage the homeless to keep their pets on a leash because it's so dangerous when they're out on the streets. They might see a dog across the street and take off and get hit by a car. So, it's just common sense. But toys and bedding for the people that are low income, to have a bed for their dog would be wonderful. I mean, it's something they wouldn't be able to afford. Toys. Maybe your dog has passed on, or your cat, you have leftover food, or maybe the vet has said your dog can't eat this kind of pet food anymore. Tape it up and take it to one of our donation sites. They will accept that.
Yeah, it's really that easy. Everybody, I've done this, exactly what you're talking about. When my cat passed away and I moved out of the area, so it was like, okay, I'm not going to be having any more cats, not at this part of my life. So yeah, we donated. It was 3/4 of a bag, and we did that when our shepherds passed, and we gave it to the shelter and that type of stuff. They will take it, if it's good and it's not covered in maggots, which is hard to get with dry food, but and that kind of stuff. It's so simple. People don't realize that it's so simple. Just let's say, your animal has passed on. The carrier and the food is pivotal. These are the expensive things. But if you have toys left over that are good for animals, and I mean, you might have a ping pong ball, and believe it or not, a parrot or a small cat or any of that will love that thing. Now, you never find it again if you're living on the freeway, and that's really close to my area. I'm off a major freeway, and we have just a plethora of homeless, and it was even a bigger step up, with pandemic. And you want those animals safe, and there's so many I know in our area, and Genevieve, I assume you'll find the same, that mental illness is a big part of this. Animals will give you that stability. I think, Jacalyn, I can speak for both of us, going through our own personal hardships, illnesses, and these kind of things. Our animals made a world of difference and that type of stuff. So I'm constantly squishing mine, and she's like, man, why do you keep doing this? And it's like, because this is your tax for me feeding you and cleaning your litter box. But that is mental balance. That's mental health. And no psychologist, I don't care how good you are, can match what a pet gives of itself willingly. You can't pay them for it. You can't beat them into it. You can try, but it's not genuine. An animal.
And I think also, just to jump in on something that Genevieve had said, is that we can't judge why people are homeless. I've interviewed so many people on this platform, senior level executives. Things just happened, and then all of a sudden they found themselves to be homeless. So we automatically assume as a society that it's a crazy person, it's a drug addict, and that's not the case. And imagine you have a stable life and you have a pet, maybe you have more than one pet, and all of a sudden you find yourself homeless, and these pets are part of your family, and you don't want to let go of them either. So I think if we all band together, we can actually make a difference. So I have a question, Genevieve. In addition to dog food, I know we've had other people on here who recommended feeding pets other things as well. So can people donate meats, all kinds of people food, I would call it?
Veterinarians will tell you that people food is not good for dogs. That's part of the a lot of our emergency cases are because a dog has eaten a bone, uh, a rib, or a pork bone or a chicken bone gets stuck, and then it causes that now we're talking about $2,000-3,000 surgery because this dog is going to die if it doesn't get this removed very quickly. So people food is not a good thing for dogs or cats, although I admit I am one of those people that sneak my dog a little bit of steak or a little bit of salmon, or so I'm guilty of that. But it's not a good idea, and that's the problem with a lot of these dogs. The people are sharing their own food with their animals, and it causes digestive system to all of a sudden they're vomiting, they have diarrhea, and now, what am I going to do? And, a lot of, but I wanted to get back to why people become homeless. We're finding that Social Security and pensions are not enough to keep up with rents. And so we're finding that a lot of elderly people are becoming homeless, and they're living in their vehicles. They don't want their family to know. They're embarrassed. They're ashamed. So they would rather just stay on the streets, which causes them to become more susceptible to illnesses and to COVID. It's kind of once you get into that cycle of being homeless, it is very, very difficult to get out without that help. And that's one of the reasons that we supply homeless shelters with these crates, because we know if they can get into that shelter with their pet, the chances of them to start working with a social worker to get them out of homelessness. Sometimes they have left a situation with their clothes on their back and their dog. That's all they have. I took a call from a woman who was elderly. She was expecting the sheriff on her doorstep to kick her out. She had no transportation. She had 2 elderly dogs. And she said, "What am I going to do? I'm going to be out on the street with the clothes on my back, and I don't know." So I gave her a bunch of resources to call. She was frantic, as you can well imagine. And I know she was elderly, and that breaks my heart because I'm elderly, and if you never know what's going to happen. 50% of the population is one paycheck away from being homeless. But then when you think about between 60 and 70% of Americans have at least one pet, what are you going to do? Are you going to go into a shelter that doesn't allow pets, and you're going to leave your dog in your car, or you're going to turn that dog over to, relinquish it to a shelter? Those are hard decisions, and having a pet and becoming homeless, there's a lot that goes with that. And it is our hope that we are taking some of that burden off of these people.
Absolutely. And we absolutely honor your passion and what you're doing. And that's why it's so important on all these platforms to make sure that people realize the work is being done, but it's being done by 5 people for 5 million people. That ratio mathematically doesn't work. So getting the word out is saying, yeah, if you have cat or dog food, will you, meaning you decide if it's good, if it can be passed on, and that kind of stuff. So Dr. Jacalyn, what you were talking about of having, like, say, leftovers or something like that, let's say it's boneless, let's say it's fruit and vegetables. The problem, and Genevieve, please jump in here, you're the expert, is that the homeless don't have a fridge or a safe place to put it, and or it gets stolen and that kind of stuff. So they do share everything. I've seen it, tacos and that kind of stuff, and they'll eat shells and all. Everybody, is going to eat what they can. And I've seen a homeless person take a bite, and the animal take a bite, and and they're sharing because this matters. But the simplest thing I would think, Genevieve, having worked in rescue, is dry food. Dry food is simple. Cans need to be opened, and then we've got more litter in the homeless camps, so it creates rats and ants and whatever else you want to invite in with the dishes, and because they don't have a trash can, and if they have a trash can, it's full. So dry food is really simple. The bag is reusable to carry their clothes, help with the rain, whatever. And so I would personally, and Genevieve, please let me know if this is correct, would please encourage everybody, just buy an extra bag of food every time you buy food. We get it delivered now. And you just get it delivered again, and you can actually probably have it delivered straight to your shelter and just say, no, this one's going to this address and this one's going to that address. It's really this simple. When you order food, if you're doing it on Amazon like we are, and you just order 2, and you say that one goes to Coral Street and that one goes to Marsh Street.
Right.
It's really that simple.
You know, you bring up a good point. Because of Amazon and other Chewy and some of those other ones that deliver pet food,
Right.
it has caused a lot of smaller mom and pop stores, you know, real stores, to go out of business. And a lot of them were our donation sites, because then they would take what was about to be expired and they would donate it. So, you know, it was working real well until COVID.
It wasn't. That wasn't. And so, yeah, and a lot of mom and pop shops are now going to a mail order because there's so many wonderful services out there that they can do. Even the post office, even though where I live, I delivered 2 of my neighbor's packages. One came to my house, one came to the neighbor's house, and I took his package and took it to the other neighbor's house. I was going for a walk anyway, but it was like, and everybody's like, thank you. I was like, yeah, just call me the postwoman at 9:30 at night. So
yeah.
But you know, they can do that with the mom and pop shop, because a lot of them are really got in with, because people can't go to their shops. The ones that have survived have gone online. It's just been a tremendous education.
You know, for the folks out there that are watching today, if pet food isn't something that you want to donate, maybe you'd like to donate money so that we can continue to treat these animals that are injured or ill. We don't accept money from the government. All of our money comes from individual donors, companies, and private foundations. It's easy to donate. All of our information is on the website, our mailing address. You can do a credit card. It is important that we be able to pay these hospitals. Otherwise, they're not going to work with us. They can't do that, or they'd be out of business. So, yeah, we have a cap of how much money we can spend per pet. And it depends on the donations coming in. When I first started this, the cap was $500. But you know what? Some of these hospitals were happy to accept that, knowing that they were helping this person and that pet. These pets are lifelines to some of these people. I've had people tell me, if it wasn't for my pet, I would have committed suicide a long time ago. It gives them structure. It gives them a purpose. They may have lost their family due to who knows what, and now they're on their own. But this pet is giving them that structure and that responsibility to care for it, to make sure it has water, food, even if they're sharing their hamburger with the animal. So, yeah, I just would like people to know that we have a big presence on social media. If you go to our website, you can sign up for our newsletter, which will tell you at least 2 emergency cases. We always ask for pictures from the hospital of the dog or the cat that they have treated and that we've actually paid for. So we have lots of great stories. A lot of them are heartbreaking, because sometimes they don't find us in time, and the doctor will call us and say, we're going to have to put this one down. It's too late. And it's because they didn't find us in time, and the dog is suffering so much. So the attachment, just to give you an illustration, the vet now has to go back to this person and say, look, we're going to have to put your dog down. Feeding Pets of the Homeless is going to pay for for everything. So you don't have to worry about that. But that person will walk out with that sick or ill dog because they can't let it go.
Right. And we've all experienced that loss. I know.
Very painful.
I know have.
Yes, definitely. We have a comment. Hello, Adam Duvall. Hello, Jacalyn Kerbeck. Got a pet psychic on. Wow, I've never heard of that before. I'd love to know more. Adam is joining us from the UK, and he has his own amazing story. So, yes, there's the pet psychic Aminah. Our show is here every week. Adam, do come back and join us. It's nice to have you.
And Adam, we have it all on record. If you go to the YouTube channel that Jacalyn has posted, you will get to see all our back stories and my backstory and all that type of stuff. And so many more amazing guests as Genevive of where we want to be and how to fly safe. You would have loved that, Genevive, how to fly with a pet safe. We had her on and she wrote a book. So my heartstrings are out to you. And this is why I know Jacalyn and I wanted to do this to get the word out. Anything, let me really emphasize, everybody who's listening, anything you can do. If it's $5, I've seen children do this. They come and they had $1 from the tooth fairy and they gave that. You know what? That means as much as $100 because to that child, it could be. They don't maybe have that awareness of what $100 is yet, hopefully, but it all matters. I've seen piggy banks emptied, and it's heartwarming.
And I also want to share, you can tell the passion and feeling that Genevive has about this. This is something she lives every single day. And I'm sure your team there and also the people, the vets, the people working in all the hospitals, they really need help because they're frontline workers for these pets and for these people. And it is heartbreaking. Adam has a question. I have a question for the pet psychic Aminah. I'm sorry, it doesn't say Aminah. I'm thinking you're Aminah. Can you tell me when an animal is experiencing some sort of mental health? I guess to me, mental health issue.
Yeah. It's usually, and I'm going to be honest, it's usually the human that's having the mental health issue and has transposed it onto the pet. And I mean that literally. So many times we're going through a really hard time and we see through the lens that we're living. So if you're living a really difficult day or a difficult hour, how many times have you come home and yelled at your roommate, brother, sister, mother, husband, and gone, wait a minute, that wasn't yours, that was mine. And so it's to know if pets have mental illness. The jury's out on that medically, but yes, is it possible they have a cognitive brain? Absolutely, it's positive. But my experience after 40 years is that typically it's the person's issue transposed onto the pet. So there's the short.
All right, Adam, I am streaming Aminah's information, so you can contact her. And he writes, "Wow, I never knew that. Thanks for this. Thanks for asking." All right, so do reach out to Aminah. So it's time to close up our show. Genevieve, how are you feeling? Are you feeling okay?
Yes.
Did we drain you completely?
Thank you. You're right. I am very passionate about this. And it's been quite a journey from starting this in my home to having a staff of 7 now. Yeah, it's been quite a journey.
Well, I want to share with you, I'm so glad you answered the question about the food because we're getting ready to clean out our freezer, which has some really nice food in there that we can't take with us. And I thought, I'll take it. I knew that we were interviewing you today, and I thought I'll take this over for the pets. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the grocery store. I'm actually going to buy food, dog food for pets, and take that to the food bank as well as the people food. Otherwise, I would.
It's really great if you even get something that's resealable, because you're dealing with or bring zip ties. They're $1 at 5 of them, or not the dollar store. I don't know what to call it anymore. It's the dollar store for me. It doesn't $1. I understand, but even something as simple as a bag of zip ties that they can close the food up. A lot of people don't think there's other steps. Food is absolutely the paramount, but maybe bring something that they close the bag with. I mean, a clip. A zip tie, anything simple that keeps it fresh, because I do want the pets to eat healthy and less ants. Ants are protein.
What I can talk to that. Most of our food banks repackage the pet food because you can't give a homeless person 20 pounds of
Exactly.
dog food. So they repackage it in Ziploc bags so that they know that that person's coming back every day to get food for their self, and now they will have food for their dog. If they're low income and they may be in an apartment, yeah, they will probably give them 10 pounds worth at a time because they know they're not going to be coming back every single day. So yeah, they'll get a lot of volunteers that will, Boy Scouts and Girl Scout troops will go to homeless, go to food banks and help divide up all that food.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Great. That's a great idea. Yeah, some hefty bags, and we're good with that. The Ziploc hefty bags, you know, the zipper ones. That would be great. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I'm actually putting your contact information on social media so people don't have to worry about the banner. It only took me a year to figure this one out. So for example, we have, here's Aminah's information, all the different sites. Genevieve, we have your information, all the different sites. So now everybody can actually see how to contact you. But Genevieve, for people who are listening on the radio and they can't read the banner, what is the best way to contact you?
The best way is to go to our website, petsofthehomeless.org.
Wonderful.
Thank you. And it's been an absolute pleasure having you here today. And I'll look forward to having you back next month, I guess. Yes?
Absolutely. We're going to have a convene and see what's open.
Great. Great. I look forward to it.
Wonderful. Thank you, Genevieve.
Thank you, Genevieve. Thank you for being such a heart-centered person. Really. God bless you. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
And be safe.
You too. Bye-bye. Oh, she was an excellent guest, and her passion, her compassion, her empathy.
Am I so blessed? Am I so blessed? The first I meet you, and everybody says, how'd you meet her? I don't know. She just walked into my life on Zoom one day. I don't know. I mean, that's a history for us. But now, you know, the whole goal was to have that rotating, really great content, really great, that pull at your heartstrings to help us all do better. That's what your platform is doing. I see it on all the other guests that you have, that they have, you know, even the music and the artists. If that doesn't move your heart to a better place, I don't know what. So just try a dog.
I agree. And we do have a global platform. As you saw, we had someone from the Philippines, someone from the UK.
I love it.
And it's amazing. So we're going to say goodbye for now. And Aminah, I've got your banner up. What's the best way for people to contact you? bridgingworlds.us. If you want to know anything about me, you want to connect to these videos that Jacalyn and I do on her platform, and or any of my other Facebook ones, just find me there. You'll find all of my links, all my stories about me and my background. bridgingworlds.us. Join me. Thank you, Aminah. And as you mentioned, we've got some amazing music videos. This one, I think I just started playing last week. I can't get enough of it. I just have to keep playing it. It's called Nothing Is Wrong With Me. It's by an artist called Sam Sarah. She's in the UK. She actually produced this and directed this herself in 2017. She wrote the song and she actually filmed it. I think it's in a subway, but she didn't release it from 2017 until here on this platform on Halloween. So it's quite an honor. Let's take a look at it. And Aminah and I will be back next week. Take care of yourselves. And please go and donate dog food. Find a place. And cat food, yes. If you have it, bunny food if you have it, whatever you have. But yes, pet food. I agree. Any of it. All right. Thanks again for watching us. We'll see you again soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, USA Global TV. We'll see you again. Bye.